Hey, what's up, everybody? I know it's been a little under a week since I made a video. I haven't made a video really all week. The reason and I'm pretty much not going to make a video all week because this is being recorded on November 3rd, 2018. Pretty much the reason why is because I've just been extremely busy with college stuff. I'm pretty much a big procrastinator and put everything off to the last minute. I didn't really mean to do that. It just kind of happened. So all this week I've just been doing my college work. So I haven't really had the time to sit down and review or even watch any WWE shows. So what I've decided to do is instead of watching all the shows and reviewing them separately, I'm just gonna combine them all into one video. So pretty much, um, I don't even know when this video will go up, but pretty much I'm gonna do all the WWE reviews from Evolution all the way until Crown Jewel. And by the time that happens, what I'm gonna do is do all the WWE reviews from the week after Crown Jewel. So I'm gonna have two WWE All Talks. I might make this a regular thing, um, just because uh, just because it seems to be working. I might make this just a regular thing. Um, but the only thing I'm not going to include is last week's episode of Mixed Match Challenge, just because I'm going to make that its own video because I have all the Mixed Match Challenge episodes reviewed itself, so I figured that would just make sense. So I at least have it in some sort of live reactions. So I actually kind of think I should just make it all a separate video. And what I'll do is I'll pre-record that before because this video will probably go up after this video, and yeah, that's pretty much what I'll do because it doesn't make any sense for me to upload Mixed Match Challenge before this. So, but yeah, I'll upload Mixed Match Challenge um separately, and I'm not gonna include any of the smaller shows like 205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK. I might include Main Event in here, depending on if I have a way to watch Main Event for this week, but I might not, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, let's just get right into this. I'm gonna start off with Evolution, um, and then work my way down. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's just get right into it. Alright, so starting off with Evolution, I'm not going to give the most detailed review on this show just because the show happened not even a week ago, and I figured, this video is going to be long enough as it is, but I will give a review of it. Um, and I gotta say though, I would just say this right now, I thought WWE really did a good job with this show. I was pretty surprised because there was no, I did say in my predictions that this show could surprise us, and it did. It surprised me because I didn't think it was going to be anything special, considering the fact that WWE really didn't put a lot of effort in promoting the show and stuff like that once the show got closer. But I thought WWE did it. I thought the show ended up being a really good. I thought it was a pretty big surprise. I only have really some minor issues with this show, but they did a lot of promoting. Like as the show got closer, they released marquee matches about women. They did some WWE Now panels with first, I believe it was Kathy Kelly, um, Nikki Bella, Charlotte Flair, and what's her name? Um, Shayna Baszler, who were all the challengers going into this show. And then they did one with also Kathy Kelly, Sasha Banks, Tony Storm, and Trish Stratus. So, and then they did one with Stephanie McMahon. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna start off by just talking about this show. Now, do note I have not seen any wrestling um, beyond this show, so I have no clue what's going on with the woman since Evolution. So, I just want to make sure I put that out there. But starting with the kickoff, I'm not going to do a most detailed review on the kickoff, but you had the panel of Renee Young, Paige, and Beth Phoenix, and they did a red carpet for this show. I heard I heard the kickoff was taped ahead of time, which makes sense because Michael Cole, Renee Young, and Michael Cole were all on the panel right before the kickoff went off the air, and it makes sense that it would be taped because there's no way they would have been able to get to the commentary booth table and get all set up with the time because I think it was like literally like a minute they would have had to get set up. And then obviously you had the red carpet where people were showing up in dresses and stuff, and you had Trish Stratus showing up in a dress, and there's no way she would have been able to get into a ring gear and work out with the time that she would have had. So I thought that it was pretty obvious it was taped. But they did the red carpet. They did interviews with Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, which I thought was kind of funny considering the fact they don't like each other in real life. But they talk about the time they made history in Abu Dhabi and did the first ever women's match there. Michael Cole, and they did interviews with like Michael Cole, Trish Stratus, and Carmella. They even had R-Truth come out and thought he was in the women's battle royal, which I thought was funny. Natalia did an interview. Maria Menounos showed up, and I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of expected her to be there, but I thought she was going to be like this guest ring announcer somewhere, but it didn't happen. Eve Torres was there, which I was kind of pissed about at first because I'm kind of like, well, that was kind of a surprise, but she didn't really have a match or anything, so I guess that made sense. Stephanie McMahon did an interview. Nia Jax and Ida Johnson, her grandmother, did an interview, and Ronda Rousey did an interview. And pretty much all the interviews took place with just talking about the significance of the women's evolution and stuff. And I believe the people that hosted the interviews were Kayla Braxton and Charlie Caruso. So there's that. Then you had the actual show itself. You had the commentary team of Renee Young, Michael Cole, and Beth Phoenix. I think I might have touched on this in my predictions. A lot of people had issues that Michael Cole was there. I really didn't have a lot of issues with it because there's no woman that would have been able to be the play-by-play person on this show. Michael Cole, I think, was really good in the Mae Young Classic. He had his slip-ups on this show, but yeah. And you could definitely see that this show had an NXT takeover vibe to it in a way. I really can't explain it. Because they had like the opening performance with Lizzie Hale and Nida Stratus. I don't know if that's how you say their names or not, but it was pretty much they did like an opening performance of Evolution, and the theme song that they were singing should have been the theme song of Evolution itself instead of Salute because that song's shit. But you could see that that was like an NXT vibe to it. I did read online that I think Triple H had a pretty big influence on this show. And you could definitely see that he had a lot of influence with the way the show was structured, the way the matches were worked out. So I actually thought that was well done. And you had the first match. It was Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alicia Fox and Mickie James with Alexa Bliss ringside. And I do gotta say too, the crowd really made this show because this turned to like a 2 3/4 star match into a 3-star match. Just because the crowd was heavily involved. You could kind of see that it consisted mostly of women because you could tell with the way that the crowd was sounding. But you could see they definitely had the hardcore fans in there because the Mae Young Classic competitors got a huge reaction. The NXT competitors got a huge reaction. So the crowd was great all night, though. They really did a good job at with reactions. But this match I thought was a good match. I think the match, Trish and Lita dominated the match early. And I thought they looked good. Mickie James and Alicia got the heat on Lita for a while. And they did one spot that I didn't really think made much sense where Trish and Lita did like a double team move behind the ref's back. And then Mickie and Alicia just immediately got the heat back again. It was, I don't know, it wasn't a bad spot or anything, but I'm just kind of nitpicking there. I didn't really like that spot that much. And then Trish got the hot tag and she hit the Stratus faction onto Mickie James, and Alicia Fox broke it up, but she missed her cue to go break it up because it was clearly a 3 count. So, and then the finish comes when Trish hits the Trish kick or the chick kick on, I believe, Mickie James for the win. It was a pretty good match. I thought it was a good match. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's mainly because of the crowd that it gets bumped up a 1/4 star. If it wasn't for the crowd, it probably would have been 2 3/4 stars. And Alexa Bliss obviously didn't really do anything because she's got a legit concussion. But it was cool that she was there. She was dressed up as Alice in Wonderland, so I thought that was a nice touch, which was kind of a waste of time. I'm assuming she was going to dress up this way anyways. And then the Bella Twins did an interview on Ronda Rousey. They talked about pretty much how Wanda made it personal first by talking about their love lives, and they dedicate their match to Ronda Rousey's mother to kind of really make it personal. Then you had throughout the night, it showed a woman get an interview with video packers and stuff talking about Evolution. It's pretty much everybody that was on the show. So yeah. And then you had what they call the historic battle royal, where the winner receives a future women's championship match. And I'll go through all the competitors. You had SmackDown's Naomi, free agent / legend Michelle McCool, legend / free agent Alundra Blaze, SmackDown's Carmella, SmackDown's Zelina Vega. I'm just gonna say free agent Kelly because she's not a legend in my eyes. Monday Night Raw's, I guess, Tamina Snuka. Monday Night Raw's Ember Moon. SmackDown's Lana. Monday Night Raw's / 205 Live's Maria Kanellis. Mandy Rose, who was on SmackDown. Free agent / legend Molly Holly. Monday Night Raw's Dana Brooke. Monday Night Raw's Nia Jax. Free agent / legend Ivory. SmackDown's Asuka. Free agent / legend Tori Wilson. SmackDown's Peyton Royce. SmackDown's Billy Kay. And immediately the Iconics come out and cut a promo on everybody in the ring, talking about how this is going to be like, how they paved the way for women, but this is going to be one of the most famous things they're going to do for a while, pretty much insulting them. And it led to, and you could clearly see where this was going, where everybody worked together and eliminated the Iconics. I actually liked that spot. I thought that was a nice spot. And really, this battle royal wasn't anything special. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was just, let's just throw all the women into one match. And that's kind of what it was. There was some stuff that I thought was nice in this battle royal, and there was some stuff I didn't really care for, like Alundra Blaze didn't have a big role in this battle royal, which I thought she would have. She was just eliminated, I think, right away. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville working together in this battle royal, and Mandy Rose eliminates Sonya Deville, which I think I forgot to write down her name in this battle royal, so I have to make sure to remember to do that. No, I didn't write down Sonya Deville's name. My bad. And Mandy Rose eliminated her out of the blue when there was like a lot of wrestlers in there left, so I didn't really think that made any sense. Carmelo and Ivory do a dance break, and I thought they kind of missed the boat here because they should have had the right dissenters like siren go off when Ivory was doing the dancing. I don't know why they didn't. When it comes down to like the final six, which I think was like Asuka, Ivory, Michelle McCool, Nia Jax, Tamina Snuka, and Ember Moon. It might not have been the final six, but it was like somewhere in that area. And people were getting eliminated. Ivory looked really good in this battle royal. She got eliminated. Maria Kanellis looked pretty good in this battle royal too. She was eliminated right in front of her husband, Mike Kanellis, and her child, who I don't remember her name. Asuka was eliminated by, I think, Tamina and Nia Jax. No, Ember Moon, actually. She was eliminated by Ember Moon, which I thought was kind of nice because it tied into the whole feud. But it kind of shows that Asuka's like pretty much dead on the main roster. So then it's down to like the final three, which was, Asuka, no, Ember Moon, Tamina Snuka, and Nia Jax. Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka went at it again. They always try to hype this up like it's a big deal, but it really isn't that big of a deal. They even like tribute to Roman Reigns by doing the battle cry, which I thought was a nice touch, and like took everybody out in the battle royal. And then Ember Moon somehow eliminated Tamina Snuka. Then it's down to Nia Jax and Ember Moon. Ember Moon tries to eliminate Nia Jax, and Zelina Vega, who was never eliminated, tries to come in and eliminates Nia Jax and Ember Moon, but she thinks she's eliminated him, but doesn't. And then Nia Jax picks up Zelina Vega, tosses her out of the ring, and lands right onto Tamina Snuka. And Nia Jax was very reckless with this because Tamina Snuka didn't fully catch Zelina Vega. And then eventually she like throws Ember Moon down on the ground, and Nia Jax eliminates her. And Nia Jax now gets the title match, which I guess because she's on Raw, she's going to challenge for the Raw Women's title, so I guess that makes sense. And she cuts a promo talking about how she's happy to win. She did do a Be a Star thing. I was kind of hoping she was going to do a Be a Star thing and then perceivably tell the fans to shut up on Raw. I thought that would have been awesome, but Battle Royal really wasn't anything special. I thought it was just kind of eh. It was kind of fun to watch, but it was just kind of there. So I'm going to give it 2 stars. And I think the next thing was the next match was the Mae Young Classic Finals, Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. I really liked this match. The only thing I hated about it was it only got like 10 minutes. I believe that's how much it got. They didn't get a lot of time. I'm gonna check this out real quick. But I think they only got like 10 minutes, which I really didn't like because this was supposed to be the finals of a big tournament, and the final match was only like 10 minutes. Yeah, it only got like a little over 10 minutes. So, but I still thought with the time they had, they performed one hell of a match. And um, they really went at it with each other. Toni Storm hit a really nice German suplex on the Io Shirai. She hit one in the ring and then one on the apron. She hit a really cool suicide dive on the outside. Io Shirai hit a really cool super kick, and it was just a really nice back and forth match. They both exchanged submission holds on each other. I really liked this match, but like I said, this was not the best match of the tournament. Um, and yeah, really wasn't anything. It was. I really enjoyed this match, but it really should have. It really could have used a lot more time. Um, Toni Storm hit the Storm Zero the first time, and Io Shirai kicked out. Io Shirai got Toni Storm in an armbar, and then Toni Storm reversed it into like a sharpshooter. And eventually, Io Shirai hit a double knees in the corner, and she went for a moonsault, but then Toni Storm got her knees up, and she hit it right in the face, and then Toni Storm hit the Storm Zero for the win, and Toni Storm wins the Mae Young Classic, and then afterwards they do the whole celebration with the Authority coming out, and I forget her name on the main roster, but Sarah Amato, that's her name. Comes out and they do the whole Mae Young Classic celebration. I really liked it. I thought it was really nice. Um, and I guess they did have the NXT UK Women's Title match because if you go on the dark match, it says that Rhea Ripley defeated Dakota Kai. So I guess they did have an NXT UK Women's Title match, which is really illogical because technically the new first champion hasn't even been crowned yet. But whatever. But anyhow, trying to think, that's all I have left to say really. I really liked the match though. Wasn't my favorite match of the night, but it was really good. I'll give it 3.5 star. Actually, I'll give it 3.25 because it would have been better if they had more time. I would have taken time off the 6-woman tag match and put it on here. Because the 6-woman tag really meant nothing. So, yeah. Hell of a match. I'm assuming now Toni Storm will either get an NXT title match or an NXT UK women's title match. Something like that. Which brings us to the next match. I believe it was the 6-woman tag team match. The Wyatt Squad versus Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. It was a pretty good match. But I didn't really care that much because the Wyatt Squad are just a nothing act, and this was just a nothing 6-woman tag. But I thought it was definitely better than I thought it was gonna be. But I thought it went a little too long, and yeah, it was just a little too long. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya win when Bayley hits like a Bayley and Natalya hit a Doomsday device on I believe Liv Morgan, and then Sasha hits like a shitty frog splash on him for the win. But yeah, this is easily the Wyatt Squad's best 6-woman tag, but when you book like shit and you book a match and a hype like shit, you just tend not to care. Then you had the NXT Women's. So the last 3 matches were really good. You had the NXT Women's Championship match, NXT Women's Champion Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. Hell of a match. It was pretty much kind of like a redo of the NXT Women's Title match from NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4, except they had some new stuff in it. But I really liked this match. Shayna Baszler looked really strong in this match. Kairi Sane looked really strong. But eventually they started fighting to the outside, and conveniently they fight right in front of the NXT Women's roster, who happen to be watching this match, and the 2 other UFC 4 horsewomen were there. I don't remember their names off the top of my head. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. And this was actually too, I gotta say, the first ever NXT Women's Championship match. And of course, it doesn't say their names. Isn't that nice? But they were the 4 horsewomen of UFC, obviously. And I don't know their names because it doesn't tell me their names. But it was pretty much the two of the four horsewomen, the ones that haven't debuted, the ones that are not Ronda Rousey, and they interfere in the match and cost Kairi Sane the match, and Kairi Sane gets the Corkia clutch in onto Kairi Sane, and Kairi Sane passes out, and Shayna Baszler becomes the new NXT Women's Champion, which I thought made sense because Shayna Baszler looked really dominant. You had pretty much the formation of the UFC four horsewomen. I imagine they're going to be a stable down in NXT, which I'm obviously alright with. And I really liked this, finish. I liked the match. I thought the match was really good. If I had to give the match a rating, I'd give it 3.5 stars. And I really liked this match. And I like the finish. I'm assuming now, and Kyrie and Shayna Baszler makes history because she's the first woman to be a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. So, yeah, I really like this. I imagine this is going to build to a rematch at NXT TakeOver War Games 2. 2 out of 3 falls, Kyrie Sane versus Shayna Baszler. Then you had my favorite match of the night, the last women's standing match for the SmackDown Women's title. SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Hell of a women's championship match here. It was really damn good. They beat the crap out of each other in this match. They went all out for this match, and this has definitely got to be one of the best matches this year, one of the best main roster matches this year. Becky Lynch dominated the match early by working on the legs of Charlotte Flair, and she hit her with a chair a ton of times, a kendo stick, and Charlotte Flair would make a comeback. She tried to do a moonsault through the table on the Becky Lynch, but the table didn't break, and then she ended up just hitting a swanton bomb through the table, and the table ended up breaking that time. They both threw chairs into the ring, and Charlotte Flair hit her with a chair a ton of times. She hit her with a lat. She threw Charlotte Flair into the ladder, got her into the figure eight while she was in the ladder, which I thought was a nice touch. Becky Lynch just tried to leave the match, and Charlotte Flair attacked her. They blew out into the crowd. They went back to the ring, and Becky Lynch threw Charlotte Flair over the announcer's table, hit a leg drop off a ladder through the announcer's table, and Charlotte Flair still got up. She buried Charlotte Flair under a ton of stuff. Charlotte Flair still got up, and Charlotte Flair hit natural selection on a chair. And then eventually the finish comes when Becky Lynch hits a powerbomb off the turnbuckle through another table, and Becky Lynch ended up winning the match because Charlotte Flair didn't get to her feet. This was a hell of a match, definitely one of the best matches this year. I give it 4 3/4 stars. It was a hell of a match. And then you had the Raw Women's title match close out the show. Want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, that's it. And you had Ronda Rousey defending her Raw Women's title against Nikki Bella with Brie Bella ringside. I thought this was a good main event. I think it was a tough act to follow, though, with the last women's standing match, but I still thought they had a good match. Ronda Rousey clearly showed that she could out-wrestle Nikki Bella anytime, but then Brie Bella kept interfering, and Nikki Bella, had Ronda Rousey in trouble for a while. Ronda Rousey made her comeback. She hit the double Samoan drop on both Bella twins and threw Brie over the announcer's table. But then Nikki Bella hit an Alabama Slam and then a Rack Attack 2.0, but Ronda Rousey kicked out of that. And then Ronda Rousey had got Nikki Bella into an arm bar, and Nikki Bella tapped out, and Ronda Rousey retained the Raw Women's title. Then afterwards, everybody had a big celebration. All the women's locker room members came out, and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H came out with them, and they all did a big celebration afterwards. And then that was the end of the show. I think this show should have had pyro on it because it was supposed to be a big deal, but other than that, that was pretty much Evolution. I gotta say, this was one hell of a pay-per-view, though. I didn't expect the show to deliver as much as it did, and I thought it really delivered. There was really not a dull moment on this show. And as for what I give Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella, I'm gonna give that match 3 stars. I thought it was good. And I thought this match had a good main event, great last women's standing match, great NXT women's title match, good opener, and I thought, even the Mae Young Classic match was good, and I thought this show ended up being a pretty big deal. I thought this show was overall a success, and if they want to do an Evolution pay-per-view once a year, I would be alright with that. And I thought this was a hell of a show. I was pretty surprised. This is probably one of the best pay-per-views this year. I thought it really delivered. And I definitely think a lot of it has to do with Triple H. So Triple H is pretty much ran Super Showdown. That ended up being a really good show. And he ran this show, and that ended up being a really good show. So definitely shows that if Triple H continues, that Triple H can just run the company. So I liked it. And I really liked the show. If I had to give this show a grading, I'm gonna give this show a B plus. I thought it was a no, yeah, I'll give it a actually I'll give it a solid B. I thought it was a really good show. It wasn't quite a B plus show. It would have been a great show if the Mayan Classic match had a little bit more time and the Battle Royal had delivered a little bit more. It probably would have been a B show, B plus two, if Alexa Bliss had been able to wrestle, because I think the tag team match probably would have been a little bit of a better match. Um, One thing I was surprised about on this show. Oh, and I do gotta give props to the commentary team. I thought they did a really good job. Michael Cole had his slip ups, but I still thought he did a good job. I thought Renee Young and Beth Phoenix did a great job. I really wish Beth Phoenix would just be a full time commentator because she's really good at it. Which I'm surprised about. I don't know why I am, but I am. Um, but yeah, I really liked this show. I thought it was a really good show, like I said. But there had been reports that they were gonna finally announce the women's tag team championships on this show, and they didn't. So I really wasn't surprised because those reports come out every few months and they never come to be. So I'm assuming I'm just gonna kind of wait until they finally announce the women's tag team titles. So that's just what I have to say about that. Um, but yeah, overall, really good show. And I was surprised. I was happy too that I was really worried that Stephanie McMahon was gonna have a big segment, but I kind of liked that she was on the show but didn't play a big factor on it. Um, so I really liked this. I was pretty surprised about the show. This is definitely a show that exceeded my expectations. So I really like this show. Definitely, if you haven't seen this show yet, definitely give it a watch. So that's it for the Evolution review. I'll be back at some point for the next to give my Raw review. I was about to sign off, but I forgot that this was going to be a all WWE talk video. So I don't know when I'll have that up. It might be later on, or when I'll be talking about Raw. But what I'll do is, if it's a different day, like I did in the beginning of the video, I'll just say what the date is. But that's pretty much my Evolution review, and I'll be back at some point to give my Raw portion of the review. Okay, so now I'm here to give you guys my WWE Monday Night Raw review for October 29th, 2018. This was the final Raw before Crown Jewel. And we had the commentary team of Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Renee Young. And the show starts off with Baron Corbin coming out to cut a promo. And they had just shown that Roman Reigns video last week. And Baron Corbin says that personally he wishes Roman Reigns the best of luck. But professionally, he's happy he doesn't have to deal with Roman Reigns anymore because he made his job harder, and the Universal title, because he was holding it, looks just as good on him. I didn't really like that he was kind of digging into Roman Reigns because it was still after a week after he had his leukemia, but whatever. And then he gets cut off by Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and they talk about how they're going to defeat Braun Strowman and pretty much say that we're giving you an outright spoiler. We're giving you a behind this. We're pretty much breaking the fourth wall, and we're going. And Brock Lesnar's going to beat Braun Strowman and become the new Universal Champion. Braun Strowman comes out and says that at Crown Jewel, which every time, by the way, Crown Jewel was mentioned, it was booed because not a lot of people were happy that they were still going to Crown Jewel because of of the whole journalist murdered controversy, as I talked about before. I wasn't really too happy about it myself. I understand why they're going because of the business, but just because of two of the Roman Reigns news and all that stuff, and yeah, I just think they shouldn't have gone, but I'm not really completely mad they didn't go because it's not like it's like a big show. It's pretty much just going to be a glorified house show on the WWE network. So what does it make a difference? But Braun Strowman says that at Crown Jewel, Brock Lesnar is going to get these hands, and they go at it, but Baron Corbin tries to cut them off, but Strowman shoves him away. Corbin attacks Strowman from behind, and Strowman lays him out with not one, not two, but three power slams. And then the third one, Brock Lesnar, who was holding the Universal title, posing with it. Afterwards, after the third one, Brock Lesnar lays out Braun Strowman with an F5, and that was pretty much that. I thought this was a strong segment to really build the crown jewel. I'm looking forward to the match. We haven't seen them wrestle since No Mercy 2017, and that match was very underwhelming. So I hope this match can be something special. And I really hope they put the. I'm gonna obviously talk about this later on in the video, but I really hope they put the Universal Championship on Braun Strowman. It's the perfect time to put it on him. They should have put it on him at WrestleMania. They should have put it on him at Hell in a Cell. They should have put it on him at SummerSlam. Now it's time to put the Universal Championship on Braun Strowman. And then you had Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush. I thought this was a solid match here. It was about the same type of match you probably saw last week. And Finn Balor goes for the coup de grace. Lio Rush shoves him off the turnbuckle, and this causes a disqualification, which I wasn't a fan that they ended this match up at DQ. I don't know why Lashley couldn't just win. I wouldn't like that either, but it's because it's 50-50 booking. But what happens is Lashley beats the crap out of Finn Balor because Finn Balor was talking shit to Baron Corbin when he was being helped to the back. And then Lio Rush slaps him around, and Lio Rush gets like a text on his phone from somebody. We find out later that it's Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin puts Bobby Lashley into the World Cup and has him take John Cena's place. Because obviously, if you follow the wrestling news sites, it had been heard that John Cena didn't want to do the show at Crown Jewel, so that's pretty much what happened. They just replaced him with Bobby Lashley. So this made no sense because Bobby Lashley didn't even win his match and he's lost the past couple of weeks. So why wouldn't Finn Balor get the chance? But it also makes sense because Baron Corbin's a heel, Lashley's a heel, so it kind of works out. But I would have had Lashley go over here. And then they showed an interview with Ronda Rousey, and her and Becky Lynch come up to each other and they're kind of like, "Hey, champ," and Becky's like, "Hey, champ," and they pretty much say that they're going to see each other soon. And they use this angle to set up a match: Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, which I'm excited to see that match, but I thought the setup to it was very lame. Then we had a 10-woman tag team match. It was Lita, Trish Stratus, Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Bayley versus the Riot Squad, Alicia Fox and Mickie James with Alexa Bliss inside. It was fine. It was kind of cool to see Sasha, Bayley, Lita, and Trish team up. It would be cool. It's not as cool now though because they've ruined Sasha and Bayley creatively so much. And I don't know. This match was just there. It was just a random thrown together 10-woman tag match. I don't really get it too because it didn't really help the women's evolution because all the matches they had on the show were like thrown together. But the finish comes when all the faces hit their finishers on the heels, and Natalya. So I don't get this. So they hit the dooms. Lita and Natalya hit the Doomsday Divide on Alicia Fox, and she kicks out. And then Natalya just puts her in the sharpshooter, and Alicia just taps out anyway. I don't really get that, but it was just a random thrown together 10-woman tag team match, so I thought it was nothing special. And then Nia Jax gets interviewed. She talks about winning the Battle Royal, but then Charlie Caruso or Kayla Braxton, I forget which one it was, interviews um, Ember Moon and talks about how she was impressive because she eliminated 5 women. Nia Jax gets upset that Ember Moon's getting more of the spotlight than she is, so she won the Battle Royal. So Ember Moon challenges her to a match, and Nia Jax accepts. This was lame. And then Elias has his performance, and he pretty much is a babyface, but he really nothing's changed about him. And I was kind of thinking, like, if he's still acting like the same guy, why is he a babyface? But then again, I'm thinking, I mean, he does have his babyface mannerisms, but you know what they were doing before got him over as a babyface. Why change anything? But he does his typical Elias concert, and he was really good in that. And then he wants to go sing a song to Baron Corbin, so he goes backstage and sings a song to Baron Corbin, and then he gets attacked from behind by Jinder Mahal, and he beats the crap out of him, and Baron Corbin comes out of his office and says that right now he's going to have a match with Jinder Mahal. I thought this was really good up until Jinder Mahal got involved, but I really like this Elias face turn. And then Elias beat Jinder Mahal, and I gave no shits less. It's not Elias' fault. It's impossible to get a good match out of Jinder Mahal, so you can't really blame Elias right there. And then they revealed the brackets for the tournament at Crown Jewel with the Best in the World tournament. We're going to have represented Raw. It's going to be, so they're going to have a Raw bracket and a SmackDown bracket, and whoever wins the Raw and SmackDown bracket will face off in the finals. So for the Raw bracket, we have Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley, and in the first round, and Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler. So I am excited to see those two matches. And on the SmackDown bracket, we have Jeff Hardy versus The Miz, and Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. I'm excited to see Mysterio versus Orton. Hardy and Miz will be a good match, but I'm not really intrigued to see it. So they showed a video package of Kurt Angle showing everything he ever did in his career, and Kurt Angle talks about how he's going to win the Crown Jewel tournament and prove that he's still the best in the world. I thought it was a really good promo. Um, and then we had a triple threat tag team match. It was the Ascension versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus AOP with Drake Maverick inside. Roode and Gable win when they hit a rolling German suplex blockbuster combo, I believe, on Victor for the win. And then AOP just beat the crap out of everybody afterwards. It was pretty lame. And they're trying to make it seem like that they don't really know what the state of the Raw Tag Team Championships are, since the champions don't really get along and stuff like that. It was really weird. And then some Connor's Cure kids reach out to Roman Reigns and show support for him. I thought this was a nice video package. And then Seth Rollins comes out to cut a promo, and he pretty much says that, um, that last week was a roller coaster of emotions. He appreciates everybody reaching out to Roman Reigns, and he says that he felt that he was on top of the world last week after that because him and Dean Ambrose won the Raw Tag Team titles, and he expected to be out there celebrating. And I did like that he didn't come out with the Raw Tag Team titles. I thought that was a nice touch. And Seth Rollins calls out Dean Ambrose because he realizes he can't call or text Dean Ambrose because he's not an easy man to find. So he figures he could go out in the ring and call him out. So he calls out Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose's theme song goes off, but he doesn't come out. But instead, he comes out through the crowd. And Seth Rollins talks about how you really spit it on the Shield's legacy, because you're coming out through the crowd like the Shield used to, instead of coming out to the ring. And Seth Rollins did mention that maybe this is on him because he turned his back on the Shield 4 years ago, so Ambrose is still upset about that. And he also starts to say that that Ambrose turned his back on him, sure that he's a selfish lunatic, um, on that last week of all nights, which I thought was a nice touch. He talks about how how he said something else. He talks about how at least when Rollins stabbed him in the back, he had the guts to come up to his face and explain why he did it. And Ambrose doesn't say anything. He just stands in the crowd, and then that's it. So Rollins threatens to go beat the shit out of him and threaten to make Ambrose's life a living hell. But Ambrose just walks off, and that was it. I love this segment. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was a perfect follow up, and I really hope they slowly build to Ambrose versus Rollins at WrestleMania. I want it to be for the Universal title. Since I haven't seen Crown Jewel, what I want to happen, and I'm saying this before I even watch it, is I want Strowman to win the Universal title, and then somehow Ambrose beats Strowman for the title, and we get at WrestleMania Ambrose versus Rollins for the Universal title. And Ambrose is just messing with Seth Rollins. He's costing him the Raw Tag Team titles, the Best in the World Cup. He's costing him the Intercontinental Championship. I just want this to slowly build up. Hopefully they don't give it away. So I hope that happens. Um, and then Lashley and Leo Rush get interviewed, and they talk about how Lashley's just going to easily beat Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel since Rollins isn't that focused. And then we had Nia Jax versus Ember Moon. Not a good match. Not really going to spend a lot of time talking about it. They both get back in the ring, and Tamina Snuka's music goes off, and they try to build up this Tamina Snuka Nia Jax face off like it's something special, but to me it's just not. And Nia Jax uses this distraction to beat Ember Moon, and I thought this was going to lead to like a tag team, like a alliance between them, but it's not what happened. They have a face off, and then that's that. I'm not interested in this at all. And then we had the debut of the Lucha House Party. It was Kalisto and Lince Dorado with Grand Metalik versus the Revival. I thought it was a great idea to put the Lucha House Party on Raw, just because of the fact that Raw needs tag teams right now, and the Lucha House Party is a perfect tag team to throw on Raw. I really like the Lucha House Party. I like, and there's a lot of different combinations they can do for matches. They have Kalisto and Lince Dorado. Kalisto and Grand Metalik, Lance Dorado and Grand Metalik. So I think that's a great idea. It sucks for the Revival though that they're just pretty much a jobber enhancement team. I don't know why they couldn't just find another enhancement team. You can easily find local talent somewhere, so I don't really get it. But Kalisto and Lince Dorado win when Kalisto hits the Salida del Sol on Dawson for the win. So I liked it though. And then they have the final. Oh wait, no, that's not what happened next. Then we have Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre versus Apollo Crews. Ziggler does a promo pretty much saying that because of Kurt Angle paved the way for him to be an amateur wrestler, but he does it in a very cocky way. And McIntyre said that he's looking into the Universal title picture, and whoever wins the Universal title match, he wants next. So I think that's setting up, Strowman versus McIntyre. It's probably at Survivor Series, but they might do champion versus champion again. And then we had Ziggler versus Crews. Fine match. Ziggler wins with a super kick. Apollo Crews as push isn't happening, but I didn't really care about this. And then then we had the final face off with DX and the Brothers of Destruction. The Brothers of Destruction come out and they pretty much say that they're gonna have DX rest in peace. Finally, this is gonna be the first time and last time they'll have a face off with each other. And then DX's music comes out, but only Triple H comes out. So Kane goes up to the ramp and goes to attack Triple H, but then we find out that it's a trap. And Undertaker realizes it's a trap, so he turns around and Shawn Michaels lays him out with the sweet chin music, and then DX take off. I liked the ending here. I thought it was a good way to hype up the match. I don't know if I would have done this on the Go Home edition, but I still thought it was really good. I can't wait to see Shawn Michaels comeback match, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. I'm excited for that. That was pretty much Raw. I gotta say, Raw was an alright show. I liked Lashley versus Balor. I liked the opening segment. I liked the Kurt Angle promo. I liked Rollins' promo. I thought that was the best thing on the whole night. I did like the debut of the Lucha House Party, and I did like the main event. But other than that, there really wasn't anything special on it. And I liked Elias's performance too, but there was some bad stuff on Raw, like the 10-woman tag. I didn't care. Any of the women's segments I didn't really care for. I didn't really care for the Ziggler Crews match, and I didn't really care for um the triple threat tag. There was more good stuff than bad though, but overall, if you really watch this show, it's just largely an okay show. Really, nothing special. I thought they would have done something bigger since they were coming off since this was the final show before Crown Jewel, but I guess they didn't. But that was pretty much the end of the review. So if I had to give Raw a rating, I'll give it a C. I thought it was an alright show. And that's pretty much the review. I'll be back at some point to review SmackDown. I don't know if I'm just gonna watch it now and then review it, or if I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. But we have to wait and see. All right, now on to SmackDown. I originally wasn't gonna do this until tomorrow because right now, well, technically it is tomorrow, but right now it's 1:49 a.m. But I forgot about the time change, and I'm really not that tired, so I figured I'd just go ahead and do it just to get it over with. This SmackDown took place on October 30th, 2018, and we had Corey Graves, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton on commentary for this show. And the show opens up with AJ Styles calling out Daniel Bryan, and they weren't exactly in his hometown, but they were about 60 miles away from his hometown, so this was pretty much in AJ Styles' hometown. And Daniel Bryan comes out, and AJ Styles apologizes to Daniel Bryan for what we thought was going to be accidentally hitting him during the tag team match last week. Or since it's Sunday, 2 weeks ago. But Daniel Bryan says he doesn't need to apologize. He knows it was an accident, and he tells AJ Styles that he fought for 3 years to get back in the ring to wrestle, and he had to see everybody hold the WWE Championship, and one of his dreams was to be the WWE Champion. And right now, he doesn't see AJ Styles as a friend or a colleague. All he sees him as a guy standing in the way of his dream. And then AJ Styles says that he didn't let him finish what he was going to say. He says he's not apologizing for accidentally kicking him. He's apologizing that he lied that he kicked him by accident, because he kicked him on purpose because he wanted to give Daniel Bryan a taste of what he was going to get at Crown Jewel. So Daniel Bryan wasn't happy about this and said that he always has been somebody that's honest, and he wants to beat up AJ Styles right now. So AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan don't want to wait for the WWE Championship match at Crown Jewel. So Shane McMahon comes out and makes the WWE Championship match right now. Now, obviously, um, I think uh, once the match was announced, we knew who was winning because obviously in the wrestling reports, it had been said that Daniel Bryan didn't want to work Crown Jewel, just like John Cena. So I think we all had the feeling that Daniel Bryan was not winning the WWE Championship. Also, because AJ Styles is on the verge of, you know, holding the championship for a year, it really wouldn't make sense to take the championship off of AJ Styles. So there's that. Um, but it was still a hell of a match. I thought this match was great. It went pretty much the whole episode of SmackDown. I don't know why this didn't close the show. I guess they didn't close the show with this match because they had to do something to get Samoa Joe involved in there. But great match here. Definitely get a lot of your way to watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Um, it was really back and forth. Daniel Bryan hit a suicide dive on the outside, which injured his leg. So AJ Styles spent much of the match targeting the legs of um, Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan spent much of the match targeting the left shoulder of AJ Styles, and they just really went back and forth, and I really just can't do this match justice. Just go watch this match. It's a great match. But AJ Styles, um, Daniel Bryan got AJ Styles in the yes lock, and AJ Styles ended up reversing into the Styles Clash and put Daniel Bryan's injured leg into the calf crusher, and Daniel Bryan ended up tapping out, which I didn't really like that finish because Daniel Bryan's supposed to be like this defiant babyface that never gives up and knows how to break out of any submission, and he just taps out here. I thought that was kind of weak. But I don't. I think they did this because I think um, they got management backstage is probably not happy that Daniel Bryan chose not to work Crown Jewel, so this was sending Daniel Bryan a message. So there's that. And then afterwards, they shake hands in respect. So I don't know what that means for Daniel Bryan, by the way. I don't think he's going to get buried or anything. I don't see him being in the title picture for a little while. And I don't think he'll be pushed up the same for these next few weeks, but I definitely think that he will be back in the title picture someday. Um, but then they shake hands in respect, and Samoa Joe ambushes AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, puts Styles in the Cookie a clutch, and then Daniel Bryan tries to make the save. Joe goes after the injured leg of Bryan and puts Bryan into the Cookie a clutch, and he holds up the WWE title. And I'll just say it now. What this led to was AJ Styles went to Paige backstage and demanded that that he defends the WWE title against Samoa Joe at Crown Jewel, and she accepted. And yeah, that was that. Then Samoa Joe did a promo backstage talking how he's not finished with AJ Styles. But pretty much, obviously, Samoa Joe is just pretty much a replacement for Daniel Bryan. And I guess it makes sense that they just feuded not that long ago, but it kind of sucks. This is just a replacement. Maybe this is why you should have had The Miz probably go over at Super Showdown on Daniel Bryan, just because of something like this could have happened. Um, Considering the fact that this was it was a couple of days after the whole journalist getting murdered. Jamal, whatever his last name is, in Saudi Arabia, or in a Saudi Arabia territory or whatever. Maybe they should have had the Miz go over. I still think it would have been a better story. So yeah, but whatever. I thought it was all done really well. Then they did promos with Jeff Hardy and the Miz talking about how they're gonna win the World Cup and become the best in the world. So I thought that was fine. And then Paige is backstage and she asks Charlotte to be the team captain for SmackDown for the 5-on-5 match with Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series, but she doesn't think that she's earned it because she's been losing lately. But Paige tells her to think it over. I kind of like this because this is a nice subplot. I don't know what it's setting up for here, but I like it. And then we had the Trick or Street fight. Now I typically don't really like the Trick or Street fights. I think they're not really funny. But they're only once a year, so I kind of put up with them. They have to do this. They feel like they have to do this match once a year since it's Halloween. Um, and I gotta say, this is probably the best Trick or Street fight that you're ever gonna see. Um, it was Big E with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston ringside versus Cesaro with Big Show and Sheamus ringside. and the New Day come out as dressed as the Brood, which I thought was awesome. I even liked how instead of having the fire, um, like ringside where they would teleport to it, they had like people holding like fire candles, um, like rubber thins on it, and pretty much the match was just utter chaos. And Big E wins when he spits that red stuff that the Brood used to spit back in the Attitude Era on Cesaro, and that was that. But I thought it was fun. It wasn't anything special. Um, it does feel like though we've seen Cesaro versus Big E a lot though. I feel like that needs to change. And then Shane McMahon was backstage again, and all of the guys in the World Cup cut promos on each other, talking about how they're gonna win. And um, Shane McMahon says that if a SmackDown guy if the SmackDown guy that advances to the finals doesn't win the World Cup, then he's gonna be fired off of SmackDown. Which I kind of like that because that brings intrigue into the World Cup. It makes it a little bit more intriguing. Um, so yeah. And then we had a United States Championship match. At least I think it was for the title. That's what they said. It was supposed to be Shinsuke Nakamura defending against Ty Dillinger, but Ty Dillinger got injured at a house show. So they ended up throwing in R-Truth as a replacement, and Nakamura just beat him, and it didn't really mean anything. So yeah, they need to do something with Nakamura because it just feels like he has nothing going on right now. So yeah, and I know I say when Brock's Universal Champion, I like it, but the difference is between that is at least when Brock's on with the Universal title, he has something to do. It just feels like Nakamura has nothing going on. I definitely think he's going back to New Japan when his contract's up. Um, then Becky Lynch cuts a promo talking about how she finally conquered Charlotte Flair at Evolution and said that she's going to break Ronda Rousey's arm um, at Survivor Series. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen because the crowd really likes Becky Lynch, but the crowd also really likes Ronda Rousey, so I'm kind of interested. But I like this promo here. It was just a nice, simple promo. And then we had The Miz and Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio. Good match, but it was really just one of those randomly thrown together tag team matches. Um, and I just noticed there was no women's match on SmackDown, by the way. And Jeff Hardy beats The Miz with the Swanton. Afterwards, Randy Orton hits an RKO on Jeff Hardy. He catches Rey Mysterio in midair with an RKO, and then he hits one on Miz. And that was the end of the SmackDown. I thought SmackDown overall was a pretty decent show. I'm going to give it a C+. Actually, I'm actually going to say it was a good show, just because half of the show did have the WWE title match with Bryan and Styles. And because that was half the show, that does make a B-. I thought it was a good show. But I also did like Nakamura versus Truth. I thought that was a decent match. I liked the main event, and I liked the Trick or Street fight. I thought it was entertaining. There was really nothing I hated on SmackDown. I thought it was very by the numbers. I think Raw and SmackDown were very by the numbers this week. I do want to give a little rant, though, that it seems like the woman just kind of went back to normal this week because the woman didn't really have any segments on Raw this week, and then they didn't really have much on SmackDown. It just kind of felt like that the woman segment just kind of went back to the norm after Evolution. So I thought that was kind of stupid. But I guess the reason they did that is because the Crown Jewel's only about the men right now, and yeah, but whatever. But yeah, that was SmackDown. So I'm now gonna do my predictions for Crown Jewel, and then I will watch Crown Jewel itself. All right, so now I'm gonna do my predictions for Crown Jewel, and I'm gonna preview the show a little bit. Really won't be a long preview since I just reviewed Raw and SmackDown. Now I have not watched Mixed Match Challenge from last week, but I just put some thought into it. I think because Mixed Match Challenge is kind of its own thing, it's kind of uncandid from Raw and SmackDown. I don't think it's really going to change my predictions really for Crown Jewel. So I'm just gonna do the predictions for Crown Jewel. I will watch Mixed Match Challenge probably before I watch Crown Jewel though. So I guess if it does, then whatever. I'm just gonna go with these predictions. But yeah, this is originally I was pretty hyped for this show. Um, I gotta say. I was pretty hyped for the return of Shawn Michaels. It was the first time he was going to be back, even though I don't think he ever should have come back because, um, Shawn Michaels was the one wrestler that finally stayed true to his word and didn't come back and wrestle. But as we know, with Shawn Michaels, because obviously you've heard that story on this channel before. Money walks, no, yeah, money talks, bullshit walks. So there's that. We had a really good triple threat match coming up for the Universal title. Then we had a really good WWE title match coming up. We had a stacked Crown Jewel World Cup. I was looking forward to this show. But then things got really controversial. Obviously, we had that, like I said, that situation with Jamal. I can't look up his name because I'll get spoiled of what happens at Crown Jewel. But we had that situation happen where he was murdered, and the WWE pretty much had to decide whether or not they wanted to continue the show. Now, I'll say this: after I think they should have canceled this show. Obviously, now that it came out that the guy was murdered, they just had that Roman Reigns announcement happen. I think they should have just, you know, um, not gone through with the show. And I know they probably would have been in huge trouble for that. They would have lost a lot of money, and they were contractually obligated to go there. I think it was worth it. There was no. I feel like it's gonna be more negative publicity to go there. I think after this show, since they are going, I think after this show they shouldn't do another event in Saudi Arabia probably until after WrestleMania. If not, if you're gonna do another one, but I think they should try to pull out of this Saudi Arabia deal because it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse with every event. It was already. I don't even know why they got into this deal to begin with. I know it was all about that money, but you half of your talent doesn't even want to go there, and it's just. I have a feeling too. It's just gonna keep getting worse. And then you had so because of that situation, you have John Cena who didn't want to go wrestle there, and he was supposed to be in the World Cup, which definitely shows that John Cena feels like he doesn't need WWE as much as he thought he did, as he used to, because he's got his own projects going on now and stuff. If they had gone to this event, maybe when Cena was like still there full time, he definitely would have still gone. Daniel Bryan doesn't want to go, which was pretty surprising, but yeah. So that changed the WWE title match, obviously. So yeah, a very weird show. But I'm gonna go over this show and just give my predictions on each match. Now, the one match that was added to the show that I didn't talk about, mainly because um, the match wasn't added when I took the screenshot of the Wikipedia page, was on the kickoff. Is going to be the United States Championship match. United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. Um, yeah. So Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble earlier this year, was in the WWE title match at WrestleMania, was in a pretty good WWE title program, well, a pretty okay WWE title program, and then he was the United States champion, and he's like never booked on the shows, and he's wrestling on kickoffs, and is pretty irrelevant right now. So, yeah, kind of sad for Nakamura. Rusev, one of the most over guys in the company, is on the kickoff. But quite frankly, if you think about it, um, out of all the matches that are on this show, I would probably, if I was booking this show, well, one, I wouldn't be booking this show, but um, I would probably put this match on the kickoff as well because you're not going to put a World Cup match on the kickoff. You're not going to put Brock Lesnar on the kickoff. You're not going to put Shawn Michaels on the in-ring return on the kickoff, and um, you're not going to put the WWE title match on the kickoff. So, I guess you could put the SmackDown Tag Team title match on the kickoff, but really pick or choose. Um, so yeah, it is what it is. If I had to pick a winner, I'm just gonna say Nakamura keeps his title. I guess they could put the title on Rusev, but really, what does it matter? I'm just gonna say Nakamura retains the title, but I really could go either way. And then we have the WWE Championship match. AJ Styles defending the title against Samoa Joe. Now, I really wanted Samoa Joe to win this championship in the feud, but because he's just simply a replacement for AJ Styles and their feud pretty much over, I think AJ Styles is going to retain the title. Where does Samoa Joe go after this? Is I think he'll either go into a feud. Well, obviously, because they're doing Raw versus SmackDown, he'll probably go into the Raw versus SmackDown feud, and maybe he'll go into a feud with Daniel Bryan, or they'll do a triple threat match at some point between Bryan, Joe, and Styles, or they could do a four-way with The Miz in there. There's a lot of options they could do with Samoa Joe. I would like to see a Bryan versus Joe feud, though. And then we have the World Cup. What I'm going to do for the World Cup is I'll give my predictions for the first round matches, and then just give my predictions of who I think will advance based off my predictions. So the quarterfinals match is Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. I think Rey Mysterio is going to get a surprise victory over Randy Orton, just because it's Rey Mysterio hasn't been back that long. It's a big return, and he can get it. And I don't think it will hurt Randy Orton that much if he loses. And then we have Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. I think The Miz is going to win. I think he's going to heel out a victory. And then we have the Raw bracket, Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, with as much hype as they've been putting behind Kurt Angle, I think he's going to end up beating Dolph Ziggler. I think it's an easy win for Kurt Angle. And then Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. I think Rollins is going to beat Bobby Lashley because Lashley's just a replacement for Cena. And Rollins, because of how well he's been pushed this year, well, not as much in the middle, but you get the point, should make it pretty far in this tournament. And then in the semifinals, I think Angle's going to beat Rollins via interference from Dean Ambrose. And I know Ambrose doesn't want to go to Crown Jewel, but he could do something on the Titantron or something. And I think Miz will beat Rey Mysterio, and they'll do like a rubber match between Miz and Mysterio, like on SmackDown or something. And I think it makes sense to have Kurt Angle and The Miz be the finals match. You know, The Miz is a perfect heel. Kurt Angle is a perfect babyface. I think that makes sense. And plus, they have had a history with each other. You know, back when Miz was on Raw before, and I think the Miz is actually going to win the World Cup. Um, I originally was going to say that Kurt Angle was going to be that babyface and win the World Cup, but I think the Miz is going to win the World Cup because of that whole stipulation where I think SmackDown guy would get fired. They could just have Miz get fired and just go to Raw though, but I think the Miz is doing a lot of things on SmackDown. And if you think about it, if the Miz does win this tournament, then at least there'll be some sort of follow up on it on SmackDown. The Miz will come out, and the Miz will constantly brag about this. Well, for at least a while, anyways. And it will lead him to getting a WWE title match, either with AJ Styles or in a four-way match, and then he'll eventually become WWE champion. I think the Miz should win this. But let's be honest, whoever wins it, it really doesn't matter. Um, this tournament means nothing. The fact that it's for the best in the world is a joke. So yeah, that's just what I think about that. Then we have the Ball defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against two members of the New Day. I'd imagine it's probably just going to be Big E and Xavier Woods, or Big E and Kofi. I'm going to say Xavier Woods and Big E, just because I always say Big E and Kofi, and then it ends up being like Xavier Woods and somebody else. So I'm going to say it's going to be Big E and Kofi. And I think the Ball is going to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles just because they just won them, so why take them off them? And then you have the vacant Universal title match, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Obviously, this was supposed to be the triple threat match with Roman Reigns defending the title against these two guys, but obviously, because of Roman Reigns' leukemia, he had to vacate the title, so now it's Braun versus Brock, and they should give it to Braun. They've delayed Braun having the title long enough. He should have had it at SummerSlam 2017. He should have had it at WrestleMania. He should have had it at SummerSlam. Should have had it at Hell in a Cell. I think Braun Strowman finally needs to win the Universal title, especially because the face of WWE is gone for possibly forever. Hopefully just for a couple years, but possibly forever. And you need to make a new top babyface, and Braun Strowman is the perfect person to make it that new top babyface at the moment. I think Braun Strowman should finally win the Universal title. Plus, Brock Lesnar's going to the UFC. He's focused on that right now. There's really no reason for Brock Lesnar to win the Universal Championship. And then we have the main event, probably. DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. Now, obviously, everyone's been putting logic holes about who should win. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say the Brothers of Destruction win because The Undertaker's on the team and everybody knows I'm an Undertaker fanboy. So I'm just going to pick the Brothers of Destruction just because The Undertaker's on the team. So those are my predictions for Crown Jewel. I'll re-say my predictions again. I think that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to retain the United States Championship. AJ Styles is going to retain the WWE Championship. Um, the Miz is going to win the World Cup by defeating Kurt Angle in the finals after he's beaten Rey Mysterio um, and Jeff Hardy in his bracket matches. Um, Braun Strowman's going to beat Brock Lesnar to become the new Universal Champion. The Bar is going to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and the Brothers of Destruction are going to beat D-Generation X. That's pretty much my review, my preview at Crown Jewel. I'm going to try to get the review up some point tomorrow, and then finally have this up, and then I'll upload Mixed Match Challenge right afterwards. So don't you guys go anywhere. That's pretty much the end of this video. Well, not this video, but this point of the video. So I'm just gonna stop this video now. That's pretty much. I'll be back at some point to give you my Crown Jewel review. Okay, so now on to the review of Crown Jewel. Now I finished the show about an hour ago, and I still don't know what the hell I was watching. This was probably the worst wrestling show this year. It was pretty damn bad. I can't really say though it's like unwatchable in a way though, because I feel like you kind of have to see this show. I don't really know, but it just kind of felt like WWE just kind of wanted to get over with this show. Um, but it was pretty damn bad. And if this was the show they were gonna put out, then maybe they shouldn't have gone to Saudi Arabia, because it just was not that good of a show. But let's get right into it. I'm not gonna go through this show in much detail because it doesn't deserve it. So yeah. We had the pre-show and we had the panel of Jonathan Coachman, David Otunga, and Booker T. And they actually weren't even in the arena. They were in the WWE. They were at the WWE headquarters for the panel, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if it's because they refused to go to Saudi Arabia or what, but I thought that was kind of funny. I wonder if they pre-recorded that pre-show too. Definitely something worth looking into. Then we had the commentary team of Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Renee Young. Obviously, it had been reported that Renee Young was going to do commentary over there, which was pretty cool, I guess, considering the fact that, it's in Saudi Arabia. But I think they only did that because WWE and Saudi Arabia are both receiving bad publicity. So maybe having Renee Young go over there and do commentary, they thought it was going to be good publicity. So that's that. And we had the first match on the pre-show. It was a United States Championship match. United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. It was a good match, but it was just kind of there. I don't really understand why they didn't build up to this match, like why they didn't do something on SmackDown. And yeah, I don't know why they didn't do anything for it. And it just kind of felt like they were just kind of there. It's kind of sad that Shinsuke Nakamura is wrestling on the pre-show when he was the Royal Rumble winner and stuff earlier this year. Rusev's the most over guy in the company. But yeah, it's just very sad. But Shinsuke Nakamura ended up winning with the Rusev went for the accolade and Nakamura got the ropes, and then Nakamura low blowed Rusev, but it didn't look like he low blowed him. It looked like he was just trying to get to his feet and just happened to low blow him. But which is what they're trying to say. But I would pretty much say he low blowed him on purpose, and then hit the Kinshasa right to I think it was the back of the head of Rusev. I don't remember exactly. And he retained his United States title, and it was just kind of a waste of time. This match didn't even have only had half the arena full for it too. It was pretty sad, pretty embarrassing. I gave it 3 stars though because it was a good match. And then we had the actual show itself, and we had the host of Crown Jewel, the returning Hulk Hogan, which was pretty cool. And he comes out and just kind of cuts a standard promo, but it was cool to see Hogan back. And I guess I gotta say, if you were gonna bring Hogan back, this was the show to do it on, because this show was controversial enough. So why not just bring Hogan back for this show? Even though he's controversial, I feel like this was just the perfect time for it. No one was really gonna boom and stuff, so I figured it just worked perfect. Um, and then we had the. I'm just gonna cover all of the whole tournament, just because it pretty much took up half the show. We had the first round match. We had the first round matches. First, it was Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton in the first round match of the World Cup tournament, and it was pretty standard stuff, nothing fancy. Rey Mysterio won with a roll up, and afterwards Randy Orton just beat the crap out of him. So there's that. I thought the match was fine. It was pretty by the numbers though. I gave it 2.25. Actually, no, I did. Sorry, I gave it 2 3/4. I thought it was pretty decent. And then the Miz cut an interview talking about how he's going to be the best in the world, bragging that Rey Mysterio is going to be all injured. Then he wrestled Jeff Hardy. And each guy did like a little video promo saying why they're going to be the best in the world. So there was that. And um, Miz and Hardy had a match. I thought they've had better matches, but Miz won with the Skull Crusher finale. This match was very by the numbers and just very basic. I also gave this match 2 3/4 stars. And then we had Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley with Leo Rush ringside, and Leo Rush didn't do his Lashley chant. I don't know if he was told not to or whatever, but Lashley dominates the whole match and like breaks Seth Rollins' neck and all that. Well, he doesn't actually break his neck, but he targets the injured neck, and Rollins just wins out of nowhere with the stomp, and he advances in the tournament. So there's that. Um, I thought the match was actually pretty good. It was 3 stars. It was going to be 3 1/4 if it had gone a few more minutes. Kurt Angle did an interview talking about how he was going to win the World Cup and go all the way. And then we had Angle versus Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre inside. And I thought they were having a pretty good match. I thought it was very nice back and forth. I thought Kurt Angle looked really good in this match, but it was very disappointing. Ziggler hit the zigzag and won clean as a whistle, which was kind of weird because um, Drew McIntyre was clearly out there and could have interfered in this match. And it was really weird. You built up Kurt Angle back just for him to get eliminated in the first round. I thought that was complete dog crap. But yeah, that was that. And yeah, I thought it was pretty stupid actually. Because I thought it was a missed opportunity to do Angle versus Rollins. Um, but it is what it is. I just thought it was a waste of a Kurt Angle appearance. So I gave it 2 3/4 stars just for that. It was, yeah. And then we had the semifinal matches. It was Mysterio versus Miz. Um, yeah, I thought the match was pretty boring. I think at this point I was starting to get bored of this show, so there's that. And Miz beat Mysterio with Mysterio went and hit the 619 and then hit the splash, but Miz got the knees up and rolled up Mysterio for the win. Miz lost his voice during this show because he did an interview earlier. I don't know. And I gave this match 2 3/4 stars. I probably would have rated it higher on any other show, but it was just pretty boring. And then Rollins wrestled Ziggler in a match. I gave it 2.5 stars. A lot of people thought this was the best match of the show, and it probably was. But I've seen these guys wrestle enough. I don't really want to see them wrestle anymore, so it was really nothing new to me. And then they had Ziggler win with interference from McIntyre with the super kick, and I didn't understand this at all. Why they were going to do heel versus heel in the finals. The only reason I could come up with is because the winner's going to get is because the SmackDown guy might be the face. I don't know. It was really stupid. And then, so I gave that match 2.5 stars. And then we had the finals. It was supposed to be Miz versus Ziggler, but McIntyre got kicked backstage, which made no sense to do it in the finals. If you didn't want him out there at all, why? I don't know. And Miz beat the crap out of Ziggler. But then he hurt his knee getting off the apron, and Shane McMahon and Baron Corbin were inside since they won both Raw and SmackDown. Or you know what I mean? One's one and one's the other. So they're trying to say Miz can't compete, but Shane says I can compete. So he competes, and he beats Dolph Ziggler in like 2 minutes, and Shane McMahon's now the best in the world. It was kind of laughable because it was just so pathetic, but I don't know why they did this. I heard they did this because they want to turn Shane heel and stuff like that, but you don't hype up a tournament and then have a guy that's not even in the tournament show up and um just winning out of nowhere. And also too, this made the stipulation on SmackDown really pointless. I hear they want to turn Miz face, and I'm on the fence about that. I guess I have to see how it plays out. But to me, the Miz is just not a baby face. He's clearly a heel character. His moveset's heel, and he just looks like somebody you just want to punch in the face. So I don't really get that. I gave this a half a star, and it just made the whole tournament pointless. You hyped it up for weeks, and then you just have Shane McMahon win. Why do that? So the whole tournament was a bust. Got to be one of the worst tournaments I've ever seen. Then going to earlier in the show, we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Bar with the Big Show defending against the New Day, which was New Day members Kofi Kingston and Big E with Xavier Woods ringside. And Kofi and the New Day had a special entrance with like a magic carpet or something. And this match was very by the numbers. Technically, this was technically the worst match of the night if you take out booking and stuff. If you just look at it with just pure wrestling. And the Bar win when Big Show knocks out Big E and Sheamus hits a bull kick for the win. It was a waste of time, and we've seen this match enough. I hope this is the end of this. And then we had Joe versus AJ for the WWE title. It was a good match. I gave it 3 stars, but it was just very by the numbers. It just kind of felt like they were going through the motions. So I just, AJ won with a phenomenal forearm, and I just didn't see the point. And then we had the worst booked decision of the night, I thought. It was Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman ringside versus Braun Strowman for the vacant Universal title. Strowman got no offense. He does have an out, I guess, because Corbin hit him in the back of the head with the Universal title, and then Lesnar just kept F5 and Strowman. I think he hit like 5 F5s on him and finally beat him. And then that was that. I gave it 1 star. I don't get this at all. You needed to make a new top babyface, and Braun Strowman was the guy, and he just lost, and he lost in embarrassing fashion. And I don't really see the point of putting the title on Brock again. He's not going to really be around that much. I heard that he did sign a new contract where he's going to be around for a couple more appearances, but I don't know. I feel like it was just. I feel like this was definitely too like Brock's decision. I don't really see the WWE themselves jobbing out Strowman this way. Um, I thought Strowman was buried here, and it was just a waste. Braun Strowman's just. I don't know. This was awful. And then like I guess they're gonna get some publicity out of the UFC appearances because Brock can show up with the Universal title, but I don't really see the long term benefit in that. It's gonna draw fans. I get like how is it gonna draw UFC fans to watch wrestling? I don't really see it. And then obviously too, if Brock Lesnar loses, that makes wrestling look even worse. And if Brock Lesnar wins, it makes UFC look bad. I don't know. You don't get it. And we don't even know when the UFC fight's going to happen. What are they going to keep the Universal title on Brock Lesnar for this reason? I don't get the point in this. Why not just put Strowman over? You had a feud with Strowman and McIntyre for the Universal title. McIntyre made no appearance in this match to cost Strowman the title. Also, another rant is Ambrose made no appearance for the Raw to cost Rollins his matches. Like he didn't have to even be there. He could have just been on the Titantron, distract. He could have had his music go off. He had nothing. Stupid. Then you had DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. I gotta say, this match is pretty boring, but it's not a complete bust. I'd say the match just kind of falls off a cliff after Triple H goes through the announcers table. But other than that, it's a pretty damn boring match, and a lot of things just go on. Obviously, when Triple H went over the win and falls normally like he normally does, he ended up getting injured, so maybe that affected the match because Triple H was really a non-factor in this match. It was really a handicap match with Shawn Michaels versus the Brothers of Destruction. I do gotta say, Shawn Michaels looked really good in this match. I thought that, you know, he showed that he could still go. I did like the moonsault that he hit. He ended up ripping Kane's mask off by mistake. I thought that was funny. And the way that Taker and Triple H went into the barricade. This match was way too long too. It went like 40 minutes, and it didn't need to go 40 minutes. Um, so there's that. So This match was just a bust. DX win with the when Triple H hits a crappy pedigree, which you can't really give him flack for that because he was injured on Kane, and I guess that's it. Now I wonder what happens with this. I mean, I guess this was like a special attraction match. But is Shawn Michaels doing one more match? I hear he's not. Um, I don't really see the point of doing this. So that was this match. I gave it 2.5 stars. It wasn't a total bust, but I thought it was pretty boring. That was Crown Jewel, and I gotta say, this is probably the worst pay-per-view of the year. Um, it just felt very by the numbers. It felt like a money grab show, and I guess that's what it was. It obviously was a money grab show because the WWE wouldn't have been so adamant to go there. But uh, I thought they needed to hit a home run with this show. Maybe they knew no one was really gonna watch this show because of the controversy. So I don't get it. The best match on this show, I can't even say what it was. I guess if I had to ask personally what match I enjoyed the most, it was probably the WWE title match, I guess. I guess that's the match I enjoyed the most. But I don't know. There was no there's really no reason to watch this show at all. Hogan coming back, people had talked about that for years, and it was just there, just there. I don't like things that are just there. Um, so I gotta say this: if this was the type of show, like I said, that the WWE was gonna put out, then they shouldn't have gone. Um, and they should just now that they've gone to Saudi Arabia. One funny thing I thought was they wouldn't say they were in Saudi Arabia, but they clearly said the arena that they were in, and the WWE should have realized that they can easily look up where this arena is. They can easily Google search the arena, and it would come up that it's in Saudi Arabia. And I'm assuming they did like this big celebration afterwards, but they didn't want to show that on air. Um, I thought it was just pretty funny. The crowd really wasn't all that into this show. I mean, they were into this show. It was pretty much, you know, they reacted to DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. They reacted towards Brock. Rollins got a huge pop on this show. But I feel like the crowd they did not seem to care that much about the WWE title match. They did the wave during that match, which was kind of a shame. Um, and they did like Kurt Angle, which was weird because he was dressed in American colors and stuff, but they did react to him. Um, and they did react to Hulk Hogan, but was also weird because he has the real American music, but whatever. And they did react big to Rey Mysterio, but I don't know. It just felt like the crowd was very off on this show, and I don't think they ever should go back. I said this in the preview portion of this video, and I'm saying it now that the WWE is just gonna create more bad publicity by continuously going. They should try to pull out of this deal, but at the end of the day, they're not going to because wrestling's a business. But I feel like you're hurting your business more by going versus not going. You're gonna make a lot of money, but it's not worth. I don't think it's worth it. Um, because how, because then how more people could just end up not wanting to go, like Daniel Bryan, John Cena. I can't really say Roman Reigns because he had a legitimate illness. So yeah, I don't really get it at all. And now Brock's signed a new deal, and now it's Survivor Series. So for the Survivor Series show, they're doing Raw versus SmackDown again, which I guess is fine, but I don't really see the point in that. I mean, we saw last year that means nothing. So um, I guess I've been trying to think about like what they could do on the card. So they're gonna do Rollins versus Nakamura, which I'm excited about that match. I think that'll be a hell of a match. Um, which I think Ambrose should interfere and cost Rollins the match. They're gonna do Raw Tag Team Champions versus SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I'm not really sure how they're gonna do that, but they're gonna do it. Um, and then they're gonna do Brock versus AJ again, which I liked the match last year, but I don't really see the point of doing that match again. But they're doing that match again. I hope Brock. I mean, I hope Brock. I don't know how Brock's gonna be though, because Braun and Brock should have been a hell of a match, and it wasn't. Um, and then they're doing like Becky versus Ronda. I expect that match to really steal the show, and I expect they're gonna do Raw Women versus SmackDown Women and Raw Men versus SmackDown Men. That's who I think would be the woman representing Raw. It will probably be Sasha, Bailey, Trish, Lita, and Mickey. And if it's not Trish and Lita, then Alicia and Alexa, if Alexa's healthy by then. Um, and for the SmackDown women, it would be Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Asuka, um, and probably the Iconics or Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And for the male side, I think the SmackDown side is gonna look really cool. I think it's gonna be the Miz, probably Shane, Daniel Bryan, Joe, and Orton, or well, probably Joe and yeah, Daniel Bryan, Joe, and Orton. I think it's gonna be them, and I don't really know what they're gonna do for the Raw side because all like the main stars are gonna be, you know, um, on already in matches and stuff. So I don't really know what they're gonna do for Raw, but we have to wait and see. But that's pretty much the end of this video. I'm just kind of rambling on now. Um, so that's pretty much it. Crown Jewel, I got to give that a letter grade. I'm giving it an F. I thought it was a awful show. Really nothing good on this show. And I just didn't really think it was anything worth watching. So if you skip this show, um, don't watch it. Um, and I don't know what happened. It was supposed to be like 5 hours, and it was only like 3, which I was happy about that, but whatever. That's the end of this video, though. I'm not really gonna say anything else. I hope you guys enjoyed this WWE All Talk video. I definitely enjoyed doing it. It was, I thought, a nice change of pace. I might do my WWE reviews this way a lot more now, maybe. Just because I have fun doing it this way. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide by tonight. But I am gonna do this same video for all of the 205 lives, NXTs and stuff like that. I might do it for last week's and then maybe again this week, or maybe I'll change it up. But I'm gonna do the same video for that. But that's pretty much the end of this video. So yeah, I guess WWE surprised me because I expected Evolution not to be a bust, but not to be as good of a show, and Crown Jewel to be the great show. But it ended up being the opposite. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I expected Crown Jewel to be like an eh. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I'm gonna end this video off. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers that are on the Talking 80 YouTube channels, and that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.